This video is a time-lapse of me making a large Bowie out of a trailer leaf spring. After disassembling the spring and cutting off a piece of the steel, I heated it up in the forge and forged out the rough shape of the blade and forged in a slight bevel. After letting it cool in the forge, I then used my paper template and a Sharpie to mark out the profile of the blade to grind to. This could have been forged to shape a bit more, but I'm not quite confident with my forging skills yet. Right here, I'm cutting out a slot which I'll bend up and forge to make a finger guard. So here you can see I'm bending out the little tab and we'll be forging it round. Here I'm using a drill bit that's a rough size of the thickness of the blade, and I'm scoring a line down the cutting edge to make a center line for me to grind to. This is a bucket of vermiculite, which I'm putting the blade heated up in, alongside two 1/4-inch steel scrap pieces that are also heated up to red. This will allow it to cool down much slower and anneal the blade. This will make it a lot easier to drill holes and grind the shape. Thank you, Alex, for the center punch. I quenched the blade in motor oil and then cleaned it up on the wire wheel. I then tempered the blade at 450 degrees for about 2 hours. The wood I'll be using for these scales is a dark walnut. After tempering, I cleaned up the blade again on the wire wheel, finished grinding the bevels, and sanded the bevels up to 1000 grit. I then polished the bevel after taping off the rest of the blade on my denim buffing wheel. I put the two pieces of leather in the vise as to make sure I don't mar the blade, and I'm using a broken sanding belt to round off the edges of my handle. Off camera, I glued up the scales, and I'm now grinding the pins down so that they're not quite flush to the handle, but small enough so that I can hand sand them with the grain. Here I am using the rotary tool to clean up the glue squeeze out to make sure the wood and the steel are flush. This then exposes the steel, and so I sanded up the handles to 600 grit and then put gun bluing along the steel so that it matched the rest of the knife. I'm now applying a copious amount of teak oil with a brush and allowed that to sit for a few minutes. I then applied a second coat and wiped it off. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, and if you want to see some more frequent updates, check me out on Instagram at Hood's Armory.